Last year, the Spurs drafted Victor Wembanyama with the #1 overall pick, and he would go on to win the Rookie of the Year award. Every single season, the Rookie of the Year award is given out to the best rookie in the NBA. And Wemby was not the first #1 overall pick to win this award, and since 1990, it has gone to the first pick in the draft 16 times. And since 1990, it has only been given out to a second-round player once in 2017 with Malcolm Brogdon. Over this time period, we have seen players mostly inside of the lottery win, except for Malcolm Brogdon. Since 2014, every single player but Malcolm Brogdon was selected in the first round in the lottery, and all of them besides Michael Carter-Williams were actually selected within the top 4 picks. So, as you saw from the title, I'm telling you who's going to win the Rookie of the Year this year. And this is based off some stats, and also my opinion based off of how these teams are built, which is the most important thing. The best rookie in the class doesn't always win Rookie of the Year, and sometimes we see guys not even come out and be the best player of the class until 2, 3, 4, 5 years after. So it isn't always a great representation of who the best player is going to be in the end, but just who the best player is of that season. So let me know down below who you guys think it's going to be before we start, and before we start, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. This year's draft was said to be one of the worst drafts that we've seen in recent memory, but that doesn't count out the fact that we still have to have a Rookie of the Year, and there's still going to be great players in this draft. Throughout the past 20 plus years, there have been 3+ All-Stars throughout NBA players' careers coming out of each draft. So, statistically, even though this may be a weaker class, we're still probably going to see 3 All-Star plus level guys when in 20 years it's all said and done from this class. Maybe only 1 or 2, but either way, we are going to get some good players out of this class. Maybe the first round, maybe the second round, maybe undrafted. We don't really know until we finally see the guys on the court. But starting off, like I said before, if we're talking about the statistics, when we look at this, we're going to take away the second round. So sorry, Bronny and everyone else taken in the second round, but statistically, if we're looking at the Rookie of the Year, he is going to come from the first round, which does narrow it down a little bit. So my next determining factor is going to be the fact that every single Rookie of the Year since 1990, except for Malcolm Brogdon in 2017, has been selected within the lottery. So we're going to take out everyone after the lottery in this year's first round. Even though there are some solid guys in here, this makes sense because when we think of the Rookie of the Year, it's the guys, like I said before, maybe not necessarily the best player when we look in hindsight, but the player who can go out there and put up the best stats in their first year, which most of the time it comes in the lottery because they're going to a bad team, so they're going to get more playing time and more shots right away, which makes sense. So now I'm finally going to give you guys what you have been waiting for, my selection for the Rookie of the Year. And looking at the odds right now, Zach Edey and Alex Sarr are the top 2 guys in odds, but I don't think it's going to be either one of these guys. I'm going to be taking Matas Buzelis, who last year played in the NBA G League for the G League Ignite and absolutely tore up the league. And my main reason going with him, as before I was going back and forth with a few different guys, is mostly because of the DeRozan sign and trade which we just saw, which will open things up massively for Buzelis. So let's take a deeper dive into who he really is as a prospect. So last season playing for the G League Ignite, Buzelis was fantastic. Standing at 6'10", he's going to be going into this Bulls team as a forward. And like I just said, DeMar DeRozan gone completely opens up this team. And as we know, Zach LaVine's future in Chicago has been up in the air for a while. So I think Buzelis has the skills and the opportunity to go out there and put up good numbers, which is the biggest factor. Like I've stressed throughout this video so far, you may be the best player in this class, but within the first season, if you don't have the opportunity to show that and get those stats, you're not going to win Rookie of the Year. And I'm not here to tell you who's going to be the best player in this class. I'm going to tell you who is going to give the best stats in year one and win Rookie of the Year. And this is my prediction. Like I said, last year, a fantastic season. 14.1 points, 6.9 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 2.1 blocks, and 0.9 steals during his first season, and finished with 44.5, 27.3, and 67.9 shooting splits, which 3-point percentage, not great, should be going up a little more, but not really an outside shooter. This guy is fantastic going into the rim, and also working on that passing as well. 1.9 assists, but maybe he'll be able to get it up, but he's going to go out there and be a factor defensively as well, which is a main reason why he's going to have a good shot going into this season. Because of that defense, it's going to give him an edge both offensively and defensively to get stats and go out there and win the Rookie of the Year, while also having a great opportunity. And I also think he can easily go out there and fix that 3-point percentage, which last year wasn't that great, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can go out there and get closer to 30 or even better percentage this season once he's actually in the NBA, because he'll have more opportunities. If on the scouting report it shows that maybe he's not that great shooting threes, he's still comfortable shooting threes, so I wouldn't be too worried about that going into this season. So with a lot of the rookies this season, most of them in the first round aren't going to see immediate impact right away, which is why I think Buzelis is going to have a good shot here. Yes, they did just go out and re-sign Williams for a 5-year, $90 million deal, but I don't think that's going to stop them if Buzelis goes out there and gets the job done. They're also still shopping Zach LaVine. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on the team by the first week of the season. He could still easily get traded in this offseason, as maybe his trade value will get to a point where the Bulls just want to completely blow it up and go out there and just play with a young team. And Buzelis could go out there, and depending on where they want to put Williams and Buzelis, I don't think they would go out and run a Patrick Williams, Buzelis, and Vucevic lineup, but who knows with the Bulls? At this point, they're not going to make the playoffs next year. I don't think they're going to get anywhere close. Maybe they sneak into that 10th spot in the play-in just because the East is so bad after the 8th seed, arguably even after the 6th or the 7th seed, because the West is just so stacked right now. But I think Buzelis is going to have a great shot this year to go out and win Rookie of the Year, just because he's going to have the opportunity. And right away, he may not be a starter behind Williams, but he's going to go out there and he's going to get enough minutes where he can go out and prove that he's a great player to start the season off, and then eventually work his way. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the starting lineup by halfway through the season. And Williams is also probable for the start of the season, maybe not. We're going to see. He's currently injured, as they just did re-sign him, so Buzelis could go out there and potentially even start at the beginning of the season, depending on how bad this injury is for Williams, because right now he is probable, but you never know with injuries like that. And if Buzelis does go out there and start in the first week and just is fantastic right away, it would be very hard for them to not start him throughout the rest of the season if he doesn't just make his way into the starting lineup. Also, looking at these guys and a lot of the guys in the first round, not very many of these guys are going to be the first option scoring wise, and there's not very many teams that are very bad that are going to have a lot of playmakers on their team. And when we look at the Bulls, like I said before, if Zach LaVine's on this team or if he's not on this team, it really doesn't matter too much to me, because I think Buzelis is going to go out there and make opportunities for himself. But also trading for a guy like Josh Giddey is massive, because he is a playmaker from the start. He is a number one playmaker, and at the point guard position is going to give Buzelis some great passes, and he's going to go out there and make opportunities for him. And Buzelis is going to get opportunities for himself driving to the rim, as he is fantastic going to the rim. So I think he has one of the best opportunities this year to go out and win Rookie of the Year. And at his odds right now, which I showed before, I really like them. there's a lot of guys this year who have very different scenarios, so it's not as clear cut as it has been before. As when we look at some of these players as well, guys like Zach Edey, I'm just not sure if I'm completely sold on yet, as he's on the Grizzlies with John Morant coming back, Jaren Jackson also there as well. Alex Sarr is going to a team that the Wizards aren't that great, but Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole both like to shoot a lot, so he may have to maybe not struggle to go out there and get points, but he's definitely not going to be with playmakers all around the board, which I think the Bulls have fantastic playmakers in my opinion. And also, like I said, this guy has the 8th best odds at plus 1500. I think those are great odds to sprinkle a little bit on him because he has the talent, he has the playmakers around him, and he has the opportunity to go out there and win the Rookie of the Year this season. So now we're just going to have to go out there and see how he plays. I'm going to be watching the Summer League games closely to see if this guy really is the real deal, and I think he is. Maybe he won't win Rookie of the Year this season, but I do think Buzelis is going to be a great player in this class, and I think they're going to get a good enough player at the position where in a few years Patrick Williams maybe being a draft bust won't hurt them too well, because I do think Buzelis can be a great player for the Bulls going forward. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and let me know who you guys think is going to win the Rookie of the Year. Do you agree with my take, or do you think it's going to be someone else? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.